Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's been a really long time since I shot a channeled message, and this is your channeled message for today. And whoever you are very very psychic and you're very intuitive, and you can read people like this. And this is why a lot of people that are around you, or at least a lot of people. Okay, so I'm just back from editing a reel, so I'm just still in that vibe, and I really need to tap into that. And before I start that, I just wanted to say that I started doing tarot readings, and it's the Lightseers Tarot deck, and it's been a really long time since I made a channeled message, and there was actually, like a reason with which I experienced today, or like something that I experienced today that pushed me into like, yeah, I need to make a video about this particular topic, because this message that I'm about to say in this video has been like coming up since 2 to 3 days, but I was like, okay, but I had a busy schedule, so I was like, I'll do it a little later. But then God was like, Varsha, you've been postponing this message for a really long time now. You really need to do this. And he pushed the final buttons, and I was like, okay, I need to do this. And the video is gonna be about you and all the people that are around you. And how do you know if this message is for you? Like, you will just know it. And this doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to, or this has to be something that you're going through exactly at the time right now. This will be something that you might have already gone through in the past, or you might be going through in the present, or you will go through in the future. As long as you know, you feel it in your body and your soul that this message is for you, then it is for you. First of all the people that are living on this earth, there is all the people, they don't even know themselves, like truly themselves. Now when I mean this, like all the version of themselves, like for example, if I say you, what will you do, or how will you react or behave when literally all the people in this world turn against you? When all of your best friends or all your true friends, even your partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatsoever, will turn against you, they'll cheat on you or they'll stab you in your back. And when you have nobody by your side, how will you react? How will you be? What will be your moral and values? Like, do you know that? Or when you're very depressed and you don't know what to do, and everything in your life just seems falling apart, and you are not able to share this with anybody, and you're just trying to find some solution, or you're drowning in the pool of thoughts of, you constantly rethinking or overthinking everything that happened in your life. What will you do in this moment? Now this is what I mean. Like, people in today day and age, most of the people, at least common people, they don't even know themselves. And I have seen that you are a kind of person, you will be getting on this journey, but at the end of this journey you will definitely be seeing versions of you that you never even thought you could be. Once you discover all the sides of you, you can literally tell when another person acts in a certain way. You can tell why they're acting the way that they're acting, why they're smiling, or why they're behaving the way that they're behaving. And it's like, until and unless you truly experience, or until and unless you truly do it, when another person does it, you will know that they're doing it. Like, how do I tell you? It's like, now imagine you were a bully, okay? And or imagine a bully, a person who bullies people in a very subtle ways. And when they have done it themselves, and they have finally decided not to do that, and they heal from it, and they completely heal and transform from it, and then they come across such similar person who bullies other people energetically, or who bullies other people in a very slight comment ways, when they come across, they can recognize instantly that this person is bullying the other person. Why? Because they have done it themselves, and they can tell whether they react to that or not. Now that is another thing, but they will be able to recognize this instantly. Now this is exactly what I mean. Like, when you yourself know everything that you are, and everything that you have experienced and been through in your life, when somebody else is doing it to somebody else or to you, you will be able to recognize it in an instant. Where is that coming from? If it's coming from a place of love, if it's coming from a place of insecurity or flaw, or ego, anger, lust, love, whatsoever, you will be able to tell. And you, if you have come across this video, you will definitely be going through such similar journey, or you have already been through. Now this is for sure. And all the people are who are around you, they're already sensing that you're elevating high in your life. You know, when a person ends a toxic cycle, or a person ends a karmic cycle, and they're moving on to the next phase of their life, they have to leave behind all those people that were there in that phase of their life, which they are not anymore. And all those people that they're leaving behind, even before you or that person leaves the situation, actually they can all feel it, that this person is going away, not in a way like going away, but in a way that they're elevating in their life. And that actually triggers them, and you're actually triggering all these people because you're elevating in a way in your life, like you're constantly undergoing elevation because you're constantly living out toxic cycles, you're constantly living out karmic cycles. And all these people that are around you, they're getting triggered by you for no reason. And I feel like most of them don't even know why they're getting triggered by you. They just think it's because they don't like you, or you intimidate them, or something like that. It is because of your high spiritual ranking. It is because that once a person lives all their karmic, see, it is not easy for a person to end their karmic cycle and live behind all those karmic cycles, toxic people, toxic habits. You know, so when I say toxic, it doesn't have to be extremely toxic. You know, it can be even has small habits which are toxic to you. That is also what can be termed as toxic, and that is what I mean in this example. So all these people can experience, and they can feel it even in their dreams or even in their real life when they're interacting with you, that you're living behind them. And they can feel this superiority that you are showing it to them, but it's not like you're doing it on purpose. You are a person who has a lot of strict boundaries, and this is because you love yourself, and this is coming from a place of love. Okay, this is coming from a place of love, and this is not coming from place of ego or all of that. You just believe that if a person wants to be your friend, or if you want to be in a committed relationship or have a partner or something like that, 7:17 on the timer, that doesn't mean that, you know, they can do whatever they want to do with you, or they can treat you however they want. No, you have certain boundaries, and these boundaries are actually made, like you made these boundaries based on the past experiences that you have had with your partners, or that you had with your friends. So everything that they did which you didn't like, and the way you got hurt, and all of that made you realize, all that pain made you realize that these are the things that you're not gonna tolerate. So all these boundaries that you have set for yourself, it is definitely from experience. 7:47 on the timer. It is definitely from past experiences, from friendships. I'm mostly seeing friendships and relationships, you know, like friendships and partners. All the boundaries that you have set. By the way, this is a new t-shirt, and I really love this t-shirt. Let me know how this looks on me. This was completely off guard, but yeah, white is really my favorite color. Like every time I wear white, I feel angelic. I become an angel, you know, because angel is like white, because white represents the purity of the soul, and white was always my favorite color. But then I got bored for a while, and now that I'm back to it with this hint of blue, it's really awesome. Let me know if you want to know where I bought this from. Comment in the comment section and I'll let you know. And so that is what I was saying, ki all those friendships that you have had in your past, all those people that you were in relationship or you were committed to as your partners or situationships or whatsoever, all those people that hurt you, all that pain, all that suffering, all that heartaches literally taught you what boundaries you need to have, what you don't need to have. And now you're a very strict person, like not in a very like strict person, you're like a very authoritative person. No, I don't mean that. In a way ki where you do not let other people come and treat you however they want to treat you. It is because you don't want people treating you in a way where it hurts you or you don't like it. And you having the strict boundaries, it's making people think ki like, oh, you have a lot of attitude or you have a lot of ego or all of that. It's just that you just have boundaries where you don't want people to interact with you in a certain way, and you will interact with them if they are kind and they behave good and they treat you with good respect, and you will give them back as well. See, one thing about you is you are definitely a very, very kind soul. Okay, you're a very, very kind soul. And what happens when a person is very kind and unconditional, like you are a kind of person who has a very unconditional type of love. Now when I say that, like if a person who hurt you badly comes back to you and says that they're sorry, they truly want to be forgiven by you, you will forgive them, but at the same time you're not going to accept them back, because obviously they hurt you, you don't want to be with them, but at the same time you will forgive them, and you will have, might have, depending on what they did and what they did not, you might have a last conversation with them where they want to tell you everything, like their POV, and then you will share your POV, just like the end closure thing, but not exactly closure. It's not like you need to move on, because after all those years you could have moved on, or maybe there are still some past things that are left in you. But you are definitely this loving unconditional soul, and people don't actually understand this about you. Like, you have been through so much pain in your life, especially with the people around you, especially with the people that you loved, that all that pain has made you a stronger person, that now you're okay even without having any friends. And I feel like you could be the black sheep, or you could be the, like, always the outcast of every friend group that you have been. At least I have been that, like the black sheep in my family, or the black sheep in my friend group, because like the way I am, the way they were, it was never a match. Like, it was never a match. Even now it's actually hard to find people who have the same mentality, same thinking, and all of that. It is because people are not that aware of themselves. Like, when a person is not completely aware of who they are, it is actually difficult to even understand another person. So when a person, like, this genuinely happened today, I'm telling this from a personal experience. Like, today I literally had a fashion practice, like a fashion walk, where we go to colleges and we participate, and we take a theme, and then we participate in our colleges. And in that, what happened is, there was an incident where I was talking to a person, and then I said an opinion that this is what we need to do, and the other persons were like, huh, and they started making faces, and then for a while they made fun of me, but it was just in expression, just like, it was that kind of energy, like, it was that kind of expression, but it was very subtle, but it was very strong, because they had such eye contact, like, what is this, like, but I catched that on real quick. Like, I noticed, and I knew where that came from, because I've experienced that myself, and I've healed that in me. Like, I knew where that facial expression, or whatever that they did, where that expression, that energy that they exhibited during whatever that they were communicating through their eyes, those two people, like, I picked it up. And when I confronted one of the person, that person didn't even know what I was saying. Like, that person was like, huh, what are you saying? Like, I did not even mean that. Like, I'm not even trying to be rude here. Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, what are you saying? But I know what they did, because I picked that up energetically. Like, I picked that up because, since I know myself really well, like, I know the best and the worst things about me. Like, I know everything about me. I mean, may not everything, but at least most of it, to at least say that I know it, of all the experiences that I've had over the past 21 years of my life. See, one thing that I've learned is, a person could be really young in their age, and they might have had experiences that even an 8-year-old wouldn't have had. So you genuinely cannot judge a maturity of a person, even mental maturity or emotional maturity, just through age. Okay, just because a person is just 19 or 21, you can't say, oh, you don't know, you're just so young, you have no idea, you have not even been half of the thing that a 50-year-old might have gone. But at the same time, everybody has a different life experiences, and everybody has different things that they go through, and that makes them mature. So every experience that I say in my channel, and they are like inspired, or at least learned from my own personal experiences. And this is what I believe, that age is not equal to maturity. Okay, and that is what I was saying, like, I knew that energy that they exhibited, because I have been in that place where I was like, huh, like, I just knew, I could recognize that, because I made that myself once. At least once in life, you would have made faces when somebody says their opinion, and you would have judged them, and you would be like, what the hell is she saying, or what is she doing, or what is he doing? But then when you heal from that energy, because that energy is actually a little toxic. You know, when a person is saying their opinion and you're judging them just because they are sharing their opinion, that's very toxic, because people are allowed to share their opinions. And if you're working as a team, obviously you should share your opinions, because it is a team. It's supposed to be a teamwork. And if other people are going to make faces about that, then I think that is their problem. But at the same time, genuinely, in this stages, what will you even do? Because you, even if you go and confront to that person like, hey, you did something like this, but there's no actual proof for it, because they don't even know themselves. And I feel like you should be, or you could be, I feel like you will in future, or you are going to experience something like this, where you can read people in an instant about what they did or what they said and what they meant, and they themselves don't even know that they exhibited such kind of energy, and they're even surprised when you say that, and they're like, what, I never said that. Like, are you making that up? Like, out of your mind? But you know what you're talking about. And I feel like recently many people they have been having a lot of spiritual experiences, because I just had this one conversation today with my friend, where my friend, like, he had like one spiritual experience where like he was meditating in like a Zoom meeting, like, you know, a collective group of all the people who pray and who meditate and who sort of try to channel or connect to God. It's like a workshop that was organized by some people, like, I don't know completely about that, but he mentioned it to me, and I was like, that made me realize ki, like, okay, I think there are so many people who could be leaning towards spirituality or having spiritual experiences, or they're starting to believe in something higher, you know, outside of us, like God. And I feel like this is happening for a reason, and we are in an era where we are trying to raise the vibration of this earth so that we can move on to the next part of evolution of our human being, and that would be activation of our third eye, and that would be activation of our brain, you know, in a way where we collectively evolve our thinking, our human brain, into the next stage, so that we can evolve into whatever next we are meant to evolve. And all of this, like, this is what has been, because that was actually very surprised, because I did not expect to have that conversation with my friend today. And that was the other thing. And the next thing that I was saying is, like, people are starting to learn boundaries by you seeing how strict your boundaries are. You know, like, when a person has a very strict boundaries, and when they interact with other people, and other people, like, all those people see that this person has very strict boundaries, and they start to learn from them ki, like, oh, she has strict boundaries, so even now I need to have, or else I will look like a dummy in front of her, or I will look like this. Like, that is one of the reasons where people try to learn it from a place of fear, to show you that they are no less. That is one reason. Second, you genuinely inspire them, and they learn from you, like, yeah, so even I need to have these boundaries. And people are actually learning so many things from you, even though confirmation verb, even though they are getting triggered by you a lot, and for a second they hate you, the next second they love you, the next second they like you, the next second they hate you again. Like, at this point they don't know what to do, so they're just staying away from you. And but at the same time, you're inspiring them a lot, and you are a kind of person, like, you could literally walk into a room, and one interaction with one person, the whole group or the whole class or the whole wherever you are in, you will have all their attention. That is how powerful your aura is. That is how powerful you are. And all of this is because you decided to come out of all those karmic toxic cycles. Like, you are a person, you never give up, you don't like giving up. Whatever it is, you're always honest with person. See, there are two things that I always love in human beings when they have these qualities. Is first, when they're honest. I really love it when a person is honest, that they just tell the truth and they don't care what the other person thinks. And this is what I try to be most of the time. Just because the person who's in front of me is going to get hurt, I still try to say the truth, because that is the truth. You know, there is no point in sugarcoating. There is no point in trying to keep it because other person or the person in front of me is going to get hurt. There is genuinely no point in that. So I always try to be honest. And the next thing that is very important for me is trust and respect. No matter, even if I'm working with people or my friends or classmates, since I'm a college student, so I'm saying my classmates, whatsoever, I'm always honest, and trust and respect is very important. And based on these three, how people react with me, and if they are honest with me or not, and if they trust me and if they respect me, most importantly, respect. And if it's not there, then there's nothing. And I don't even want such people, nor do I interact with such people. And I feel like you are also starting to believe in such part, or you already are, that even you are so honest that even if it hurts the other person, you're like, this is the truth. Like, I can't sugarcoat the truth. I'd rather say the truth than lie about it, because if you say one lie, then you'll have to say 1,000 lies to keep that lie away so that they don't catch on. And I feel like this is the best solution. When you say people what you truly think, then in that way you don't have to lie about it. People will be like, okay, fine, at least. Because I have noticed a lot of times in my life that when I have boundaries in my life and I tell people ki like, okay, I don't want to do this, like I'm not comfortable with this, or no, and I tell them the truth ki like, yeah, it is not like ki somebody else is there or something, like I genuinely don't want to do it, like I don't want to, like I'm not interested, and I want to do it by myself. Like I just want to come to this location by myself. I don't want to pick anybody up on the way or all of that. I'm just giving complete random examples based on all the experiences that I've had. It's like a collective example that I'm giving. When I am honest with all the people or my friends of what actually, like why I'm saying no, and I say that only if I want to, but when I say it honestly, I can see it that even if I'm saying like no, I don't want to do it, but I can sense the respect from them. 21:12 on the timer, because I'm being honest. Okay. And I feel like this is very important, and I have noticed this in other video channel message as well, like even she gave a very similar such example. When you have strict boundaries, and if people are asking you something, and for that to give them whatever they're asking you, maybe they're asking you to work overtime, they're asking you to stay late so that you can finish a task or whatsoever, use a message for your discernment. And if that goes outside your boundary, then do not accept that. Tell them that no, I genuinely can't. Even if it upsets the other person, let it upset them, because you should never cross, like if you yourself will cross your boundaries, how will you let the other person know that they can't cross your boundaries? Like you yourself are crossing your boundaries, then the other person will definitely cross your boundaries, because you yourself don't respect it. And when you tell them the truth ki like, yeah, this is my boundary, I'm not gonna cross it, and but you don't say it ki like, this is my boundary, you just let them know that I'm not comfortable with this, I don't want to do this, it is that, it is this, and you are honest with them ki like, you're telling them what's actually you're thinking. And then even if it hurts the other person, at least they're gonna appreciate the honesty. And that's when they know that they can trust you, because you're going to be honest no matter what. And that is how you get the trust of another person, when you're honest. And isn't trust the most important thing for us human beings? And see, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what other people think. Even now, after all these experiences with people that I've had, like I have been a person, it was hard for me to find friends, because as I told you, I was always the black sheep wherever I went. And all those people around me, the way they were, the way they thought, everything was completely different to how I function as a person. Like it could be my interest in fashion, it could be my interest in spirituality. Like I am a person, I don't have one trait, I have multiple traits. I'm like a nerd, but I also geek out on girly stuff, but sometimes I also geek out on like boy stuff, like basketball, sports, and dressing up and all of that. I also geek out on fashion, but sometimes I'm so much into like business things and all of that. So like I have so many aspects that it's actually hard to find one friend group who have interest in all these aspects as well, because I am all of that. And to find a friend group who has all of that as well, it's very hard. So that is what made me realize like it's fine. Like people, they don't have to tell you what's there on their mind. They don't even have to respect you, they don't even have to trust you. If they do, then it's great. Even if they did not, then it is fine. And you're starting to trust your intuition a lot lately, but sometimes you also get messed up, because that is what I've been experiencing. Once I feel like, oh, I've got a hold of my intuition, but then all of a sudden I start getting confused. And every time you feel like you're getting confused and you're not able to understand what your intuition is telling you, it basically means that you have already rejected the choice that your intuition has given. Now, for example, suppose your intuition says like, let's go to some coffee shop, and you're like, oh, I don't feel like drinking coffee now, it's too hot or something like that. But your intuition wants you to go there, but you feel like, oh, I'm already late to this, or I need to go home and edit this video. So now you're confused. Should you go home or should you go to that coffee shop? But you have to listen to your intuition, because your intuition is always right. So now you're confused. So it basically, every time you feel like you're confused, you're overstimulated, or you're overwhelmed, and you feel like you don't know what to do, it just means that your intuition has already given the answer of what you should do at that moment, and you overlooked it and you overthinked it. And I'm telling you this from experience, because I realized that I overlooked my intuition for a while, and I was like, okay, my intuition definitely told me what I should do, and I did not take that seriously. And now I need to look back onto what my body or my intuition is letting me know, and so that I can actually identify what is it that my intuition told me. And it's just that, see, you don't get a thought for a reason. So if you ever get a thought, just act upon it. Like just today, while coming back from college, I had a thought that I had to fill my petrol in my scooty. Now I'm giving you this as an example for my intuition. But then I was like, I just filled petrol yesterday, like I don't need to. Plus now I have to call my mom, ask for money and all of that. So I was like, I'm just gonna go home. I don't want to call her 100 times a day for money. So I was like, I'll come home, and tomorrow morning I have to head back to college, so I'll just fill the petrol up at that time. But then while I was passing through the petrol bunk, my eyes were held up near the bunk for 2 seconds. I was like, yeah, I decided to do it tomorrow, right? So I'll just do it tomorrow. And then I drive back home. And then I don't know, all of a sudden, like I felt a little sad. But since I took the decision that I'm gonna go home and not fill the petrol, and then I was like, okay, I'll just go home. But I could sort of sense that something is up. But then I came home and I opened the petrol tank. There's literally no petrol. Like literally no petrol. And I was so lucky that I even made it to my home, or else I don't know how I would have come home. The Activa scooty is heavy, okay? I can't pull it up for more than half kilometer, 700 meter. My arms, my biceps would start hurting. Yes, my biceps would start hurting. I'm a gym girly as well a little bit, but I don't have much of a muscle. But this is me flexing my muscle. Okay, I don't know if I have that much of a tricep, but yeah, I think I have a little bit here. Nice tricep and bicep. Gym girlies. But I stopped going to gym for a while because my membership was over, and then I lost interest. Plus I used to go to gym to relax my brain, listen to songs and to push myself so that I go and complete those sets. But now I have other hobbies that help me relax my mood, like drawing, channeling messages, YouTube, even journaling, and tarot reading, or even coloring. So that's the reason I stopped going to gym. And I feel like this could also be a very important message for a person here. I don't know, because I felt like being called to tell this. And music could also be a really important part of your life. And before I get back to whatever this is, let me finish up the petrol story that I was saying. And that's when I realized ki, like, like when I was coming home, I realized, I knew ki, like, even if I didn't fill the petrol now, I will. Yeah, so as I was saying ki, even before coming home, I knew that even if I didn't get the petrol, I would still reach home. And I don't have anything to worry about, but tomorrow morning, definitely I have to get it filled. And the fact that I didn't even check the petrol, and I reached home and I opened and I didn't even see one drop, and I'm shaking the bike and I'm like, where is it? But I reached home safely. And they just showed that how crazy of an intuitive being we humans are. And this is what you have been experiencing lately, that you have become so intuitive, and you're only, like, a human being can only be this intuitive if they have discovered parts of themselves that they didn't even know that it existed. Like, they have discovered almost everything that they have discovered, that they need to discover about themselves, now that they are able to read people like an open book. Even all those people that try to close off and try to be like, oh, okay, like this, that, and even if they try to be like, oh, I didn't mean it in that way, like when a person comes up to you and says to you, okay, like I didn't even know that you could pull that dress off, but okay, like, like that. But they're just like, oh, when you tell them like, why did you say that, like, I know what you mean, but why did you say that, they'll be like, oh, I meant nothing. Like, I was like, I didn't think that you would be, be able to wear that dress or wear that kind of dress or something like that. Maybe somebody here was bullied for their weight or something like that. I don't know, because I gave this example. And when people say that and they don't admit how they mean it, but you know it because it's in their energy. Now, this is exactly what I mean by being intuitive. And all this is possible. Like, you're definitely not a person. See, this is very basic. Being able to tell in what way do they mean. I don't mean this, but you are very intuitive and deep in this path of spirituality or higher consciousness, that you yourself may not be aware of this, that you can literally read people like an open book and even know the parts of themselves that they don't even know yet. And this is why it's actually hard for me to have certain conversation with the people that I interact or meet every day, because when I tell them certain things, they're like, what? No, this is not true, but I know it's true. But they themselves don't even know that about themselves, that when I tell them, they just come across as a person who's crazy, or at least they come across, like, like, oh, you're just overthinking, like, this doesn't exist, like, you're making stuff up and all of that. And then they go in future after work on themselves or all of that things, they realize that I was true all along. And then they reflect back and then they see what I meant, and this is what I mean. And you could be having such similar experiences in your life, and this is actually very scary to people. At least the people around you, they are finding it very hard to, like, be around you, because you can literally read them like an open book and they can't even hide anything from you. And it's not like you're doing this on purpose. It's just that when you are such a highly intellectual being and highly spiritual, or at least highly evolved conscious being, like, where you can read energies and you're sort of in this path of higher consciousness, rather than just thinking from a human or a 3D perspective, and you think things through from a higher perspective, I feel like this is what happens. And these things are not so common every day, or these things are not the kind of topics that people normally talk about or even listen to. That's why even when I'm saying my channeled messages, when I get certain messages, even I hesitate to even say it, because I don't want to come out as like, oh, this is not true, like this doesn't even happen, because this is not something that every people experience, or this is not something that they're consciously aware of. And I feel like I need to stop doing that. Now, this is what I'm telling, so that you know this about me, that even there are some messages that I get in my channeled messages that I can really deep dive into and let the audience know that what they really need to hear. But sometimes I hold back a little bit, because it just sounds very crazy, like these things are not so common. And but I personally know that they're real. Like, I know that because I've experienced such things, like, I know that. But at the same time, it just seems crazy when I say it out to audience. And when I am hearing myself saying it, I just feel like, how will audience even believe when I say this? Like, will they even believe when I say this? And this is what I mean, that this is exactly what the people around you are coming out to be as. That when you say certain things like this, like, I can literally read you like an open book. You don't even have to say anything. You could just come here, sit all day. I can just watch you doing you, and I can still figure out who you are, and if you are the kind of person that I want you to be in my life or not. And this is a real thing. Like, you don't even have to be with a person or even talk to them. You can just observe them and sort of feel their energy and how they interact with other people, and come home and just let your intuition and your higher consciousness, your brain, do their thing. And then eventually you'll realize if they are the kind of people that you want them to be in your life or not. And there will be people where you constantly interact with every day for work, or maybe your friends, but you still question, do I want to be friends with them? Do I want to be with this person, or do I want to be with this partner? And if you're questioning, do I want to be friends with them, that the answer is already no. Because if you want to be friends with someone, if you want to hang out with someone, if you want to be in a relationship with someone and be boyfriend with them or girlfriend with them or marry them, then the answer should immediately always be yes. And if you have to think for it, like, then those are not your people. And this is what I mean by reading energies. And all the channel messages that I give is not the basic level messages where every human being is intuitive, but I am talking about that collective who are highly evolved, who are very deep in spirituality. Either the collective that I'm referring to or the messages that I'm giving to are very, very spiritually into it, and they have been a very spiritual beings in their past life, but maybe in this life they are not aware that they are that spiritual. You know what I mean? Like that in your past lives you could have done some spiritual practices, or you were like, you know, like a high priest or like a priest, or maybe, you know, you used to like do all this things, you know, that really got deep dive into spirituality and with God and higher divine beings and all of that. And maybe in this lifetime you don't even have memory of that. Obviously when we are born we don't have memory of such things, and but when you watch a certain video you can just feel it if it's true for you or not. And I'm making videos for that collective and all the other people who have just gone into the spirituality path, who have just gone into this path of higher consciousness and all this third eye energy and third eye chakra. I feel like this will happen to you in future, will start happening to you, maybe in this life or maybe in some other life, you know. But when you feel that the message is fitting right with you, with how you feel in your body, then that is the message for you. And sometimes even when I watch a reading or a tarot reading or channel messages, I just feel out the vibe and I see whatever that they're saying is true or not. But I don't focus on if it's true or not. I just feel out the vibe of how my body feels when I'm listening to that message. If it feels right, like yes, this feels right, this feels like it's confirmation verb, like it's true, that's how I know that this message is for me. Even though maybe everything that the person said, that she said in that video did not happen yet, but it will happen in future. I just, you know, need to be aware of it. And I feel like you could also be a really master manifester. Like you have definitely reached a stage in your life where you can manifest things within like days. You know, like you just think of something and you pray to God, like God, I want this in my life. Like even if you don't believe in God, but you have become a master manifester. And every message that I give in my videos is not to make people, you know, believe like since I am into spirituality that I want people to get into spirituality or not. My only message is to let them know what the divine or the spirits around me or your ancestors or whatsoever wants you to know or hear at that moment. And also to give you a knowledge that there is something big that is outside of us as humans, that we maybe through our physical 3D eyes that we may not able to see. And these things are not talked about very commonly, you know, on YouTube or even in our everyday surroundings. It's just to give you awareness that these are the experiences that I've had in my life, and these are the things that I learned from it, and this is the knowledge that I have. And sometimes we have the knowledge that we don't even know where it came from. Like, you know, that is one of the proof that those are the knowledge that you have carried from your past life. Okay. And that is what I mean, that when I say people are intimidated by you, they're intimidated by you because of the power that you hold, the knowledge that you hold, the superiority or the hierarchy you hold in the spiritual realm. You know, in the realm of a soul, even the souls are somehow ranked. When I say they're ranked based on their knowledge, their good deeds, how they choose to deal with a situation, and how much they have been through in life, and yet they have decided to be kind, yet they have decided to be compassionate and not let all those pain or suffering get to them and make them a bad person. And that is what I mean by the hierarchy of the soul. And when such a high hierarchy soul descends on earth to, you know, spread this knowledge to the world, or sort of save the world from something, or heal the world from a particular trauma, or heal the world from particular disease or pandemic or whatsoever, such person who descends on earth and is born as a human, all the people around them get intimidated by this person, because this is a higher soul who is descended on this earth, you know, to spread the knowledge. And all these earthlings who are from this earth, they feel intimidated by that because they've never really encountered such human being. Okay, they've never really encountered such a person. And this is why, see, just because a person hates you, 11 on the timer, are you kidding me? I restarted the video again in my other phone because I did not have storage in the old phone, like in my other phone. So that is how 11:11. And now I forgot what I was saying. I genuinely forgot, and now I don't want to stop this to go back and see what I was saying. Let me see. I'll try to recall. Yeah. Now, just because a person is intimidated by you, thank you, Spirit, for reminding me what is it that I wanted to say. So, just because a person is intimidated by you and they don't respect you, they don't, treat you how you expect them to treat you. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries, or that doesn't mean that, that you're not a good person, or they treat you like shit. No, that's first of all a reflection of them. This is how I see things in my life. When a person ever treats me like shit, first of all, I don't allow them to treat me like that. But I'm talking about the worst case scenario, and I'm giving this example here so you understand what is it that I'm truly trying to make you understand, or what is it that, what kind of knowledge that I'm truly trying to give you here. That is, when a person ever makes me feel like shit that they never should make me feel, first of all, I really go into this deep thinking of why is this happening, why did I put myself in such kind of situation that I had to experience that, and why is this person doing to me, like is it something that I did, or is it something that that person did and there was a misunderstanding. Like I genuinely decode that one situation, the worst situation that could have ever happened to any human. If that happens to me, I will, like, I literally decode it into many parts, and I reflect back, like is there anything that I could have done or said to prevent that, and if I did that, would that problem or whatever that happened, could it have been solved, or was it because of the other person, that the other person was too egoistic, was too prideful, or maybe they had some issue with me, some problem with me, or I don't know whatsoever. Is it because of that, or what is it, and all of that. And that is what I try to think, and most of the times I've realized that it is what other person say or act or behave, it is not actually our fault. It is a complete reflection of them, you know. Now see, every word that I'm saying in this video, 13:43 on the timer, and the way I'm choosing to show up and say, now there could be a certain example, and the way I am explaining this example versus how another person will explain this example will be completely different. And the way we explain, like these two people, me and another person in this example, who will explain this example, will show you how we are. And this is exactly what I mean, that most of the times, just because a person is treating you like shit, number one, you gave them the power to treat you like that. First, take that power back. And second of all, just realize that it is actually not your fault, that it shows a complete reflection of them, of who they are. And stop putting those blame on you just because a person treated you bad or everything. Don't give them that power, and let them know that they can't treat you this way, and that is all. You don't need to over explain yourself, because if you have to constantly keep telling people how to treat you, that you have strict boundaries, and then that just shows that that is not your group of people that you want to be constantly hanging out with. Okay, because people, it's very common, it's a common thing that people should be open-minded, and they know that people have opinion and they're free to share their perspective. And if they're gonna judge people even for sharing their perspective or their opinion or their POV, then I think that is those people's fault for judging them for no reason. And judgment can be good, but judgment can also be bad. I'm talking about all the unnecessary judgments that people give because they just can't stand a person, and that is all a complete reflection of them. And you need to understand this, and I feel like you could have started realizing this in your life. And it's just no point in worrying about other people. There's just no point in trying to, see, you can tell a person once, like, I have a strict boundary, I don't want you behaving with me this way, I don't want you doing this to me or saying this, blah blah blah. But confirmation verb, if you have to keep saying this 100 times again and again, like, no, then that just shows that that person dimag nahi hai, they can't understand, and you just can't be with them. They're not the kind of person that you should be hanging out with regularly, and you should just mind your own business and stay away from them. But if such people are there in your workplace, if such people are there in your friend gangs where you have to constantly meet and you can't just cut them off, then I feel like it's just easier to stay away and just mind your own business. until life decides that you guys have to go separate paths and you get rid of them, or life gets rid of them for you. And I feel like this was the message. I don't want to make this longer. This was the message, you guys, and with that I will see you guys in my next video.